The sophomore, number 6, Seth McKnight with 59 yards. And for Trenton, Austin Berkey-Bile, 45 yards. Croy, 38 yards. Jeffrey White, 3 yards. Spencer Harris, 39 yards.
Bulldogs haven't had the ball very much. Time of possession has to be well in favor of the Mules, so to be down by only 2, I think Trenton knows they can play better against this team. I think getting the ball first, down 2 in the second half, the Bulldogs are not in a bad position.
Right, they've made a lot out of their little possession. They've definitely got themselves in a good position going into the second half.
Caught a break with a fumble, and it was as much as we'd like to credit Trenton for the fumble recovery, they were in the right spot at the right time. They jumped on the football. It was really Lathrop hurting Lathrop. The opportunity was there, and Trenton got the ball at the Lathrop 18 last night, and they turned it into points on the 1-yard touchdown plunge by Austin Berkey-Bile. If that happens again, Trenton will take it and run with it, and you're happy with it. But the Bulldogs, I think they want to be more aggressive, and the Bulldogs want to do things to make Lathrop uncomfortable in the second half. We started to see signs of that with the offense starting to get some more big chunks of yardage, I thought, in the second quarter last night.
I definitely think that they can if they exploit the outside corners and definitely keep pounding the ball at the middle with Austin Berkey-Bile.
We did see Trenton once last night try a little pooch kick, see if you could get an onside kick or something like that. Didn't work, so... especially considering just everything is a little bit different vibe, a little bit different feel with playing on a Saturday morning. I hope the Bulldog front 5 are looking for that.
Yep, it's like college football.
Ready to kick the football away. If I'm Lathrop, I wouldn't even think about the onside kick because Lathrop has a guy with some TNT in his ankle. And Justin Burns hit a 47-yard field goal last night. Burns ready to boot the football away here from the 40. Mules fans on their feet. Bulldogs joining them as the Bulldogs have moved from right to left on your radio dial. The ball down to Colston over his head, and it goes through the end zone. And the Bulldogs will line it up. First down and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Good choice by Colston there to let that ball bounce into the end zone. No one tried to take it out.
If he catches it at the 1, he doesn't have momentum on him.
Right.
So it'll take him a second and a half to get his feet set and then go in the other direction. There's a pretty good chance he would have been stopped 10, 15-yard line if he would have tried. Mm-hmm. So we saw in the first quarter last night, nerves caught Trenton. They had 3 illegal procedure penalties with the offensive line. They looked to be getting a little bit better on that. Trenton had Berkey-Bile with 45 yards, as Tucker mentioned, and we started to see Spencer Harris get involved with the offense a little bit midway through the second quarter. First and 10 for the Bulldogs, wearing the traveling white uniforms as Berkey-Bile gets the middle and didn't get much, maybe 2 yards. In on the tackle for Lathrop, Justice Lucas, one of many strong sophomores here across the area. We give Hunter Darr, one of the seniors for Lathrop, along that front line, an assist on that tackle as well. Checking out for the Bulldogs is Jeffrey White. Checking into the contest, Matthew Sibbett. Sibbett's one of the talented sophomores for this Trenton group that's seeing his first significant varsity time here tonight. He's one of the wingbacks. Now Sibbett goes in motion. Croy hands it off again through the middle, and that's Berkey-Bile. Maybe I'd be really generous to give him 2. Berkey-Bile is twisted down to the turf at about the 23-yard line. That's again Hunter Darr in on the tackle for Lathrop. So just like last night, Tucker, we see Trenton try to soften up Lathrop's middle by having Berkey-Bile go right up the middle. 3rd and 6. What would you be expecting here from Coach Boswell and Coach Dalrymple?
Well, I definitely would expect the same thing. O-line just got to get a little bit more push and they'll be in the clear.
When Lathan kept the football last night on those read options, some good things started happening for Trenton. Double motion there. That's going to be a penalty against Trenton. Is rolling out to his left as Croy throws, caught at the 32-yard line. First down, but that's coming back. You had 2 guys, that's as easy of an illegal procedure call as you're ever going to see. You had one wing on the left, you had one wing on the right, and they both started moving at the same time. That's a 5-yarder. That's not nerves, that's just not knowing what the play was. So a 5-yard penalty against the Bulldogs is going to put it back at the 19-yard line. Obviously, if you're Lathrop, you're taking that penalty. If Lathrop doesn't, it's first down. It's a nice-looking throw by Lathan Croy. It's not going to count because of the penalty, but rolling to his left, he threw a strike right to Connor Cotton.
On the offense.
It was a great look for Lathan, even though the play did not count.
We didn't see Connor much offensively last night, but he's a big, strapping boy, and he's going to be a good target at tight end.
He kind of reminds me of Travis Kelce for the Chiefs.
I like it. Good comparison. Lining up now in the slot to the left is Spencer Harris as the Bulldogs face 3rd down and 11 from the 19-yard line. Now Harris will sprint out to the far sideline. He's going to line up at receiver. Under center is Croy. The Bulldogs 5 across the front. It's Croy, has a 3-step drop now under pressure, rolls to his right. Time running out. He's throwing. Intercepted. He threw a ball right off of the hands of Theo Har. Right at the 20-yard line. That was a break. Croy was feeling the pressure from behind, and Lathan didn't throw a very good ball.
Didn't look like there was very good backside protection on that. You need to make sure you protect the quarterback's blind side.
Yeah, Josh Sailing came from the right defensive end position, and he was closing on Lathan really quick.
He was coming in hot.
And if you think that's easy, even with the guy maybe 2-3 yards away, put the helmet on and see how easy that is when you know you're going to get hit right in the back. 10:16 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Bulldogs will punt it away. Saw one good punt, one not so good punt last night from Jaden Whitney. He'll try to boot this one onto the Lathrop side of the 50. End over end, kind of off the side of the foot. That's a 35-yard line, and that's kind of the opposite of what we saw last night. The first punt last night, he hooked onto the Lathrop sideline. That one he sliced onto the Trenton sideline, and it's only about a 15-yard punt.
Just didn't look like he got all the ball on that kick.
It's out of bounds at the 34, so it's a punt of, exactly 15 yards from the 19 to the 34. So Lathrop gets great field position, and Trenton's going to lean on their defense. Defense needs to perhaps just hold Lathrop here to a field goal or a field goal attempt with that great field goal kicker.
About this spot last night was where they attempted the field goal.
Yeah, this would be a 51-yard field goal from here. I don't know if they would be capable or not, but certainly a little bit closer you would. There's a run right through the middle. Again, that's Lathrop doing what Trenton did to start this half, softening the middle. Trent Head gets 3. Now we'll give it 2. 34 down to the 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for the Mules. Lathrop wearing the home black uniforms with gold pants, black helmet, black striping right along the outside of the kneecap of the Lathrop uniform. Gold numerals. Play action. There's a deep one looking for the end zone open, and play of this ball game is Lathrop Justin Murray.
Looks like there's a penalty flag down around the 15-yard line.
There is a penalty flag actually against whom? I would think it's probably against Lathrop where it was thrown unless there was a hold against the Trenton defense. But what a catch by Burns. That was tremendous. He dove out. He kind of tipped the ball to himself with his right hand to the left. And let's see what the penalty is. It may be against Trenton.
Defensive hold.
Okay, so it was a hold. Yeah, my thought was maybe against Lathrop, but if the Trenton guy was beaten, he knew he was beaten, he might have grabbed him.
Yep.
So Burns hit a 47-yard field goal last night, and he made one of the best catches I've seen in high school football in about 5 years. And it is holding against the defenders, so it's a 32-yard touchdown catch by Justin Burns. I didn't think he had any chance of reeling that in.
It kind of reminded me of the play actually last night where they had around that same area where Brock Lewis overthrew his receiver. Might have actually been the same guy, but didn't overthrow him that time.
Nope, almost, but bailed out by a great catch. One-handed effort. Now Burns, he'll just finish up what he started. Got the catch, now he gets the extra point. It's good. And it's Lathrop 17, Trenton 8, 9.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. We're back in 30 seconds on Z101.7 and KGLZ TV. Back deep to return for Trenton along with Colston. Then ball comes down to Spencer at the 4. He'll look for blocking out front. He cuts at the 10 to the 15. He dives to the 16-yard line. Lathrop stopped his momentum at about the 10-yard line. And then he stopped the momentum of the kick returner, Tucker. That's kind of half the battle.
Definitely. Special teams are going to be a big part of this game today.
Got to see Trenton start to sell their outs a little bit offensively. Trenton's been stuck in neutral for the first 2.5 quarters of this game. The only points that Trenton got was on a 18-yard drive that was set up on a fumble deep in the Lathrop territory last night. So got to see the Bulldogs start to move that football. It's been a lot of 2 yards in a cloud of dust, and about now 5 penalties, all against the 4 against the Trenton offense and the 1 against the Trenton defense, which was declined. Here's the keeper by Croy, and Lathan, as he ran it out to the left side, ran into Theo Haar of Lathrop. We didn't see much of Haar last night. We're seeing a ton of him this morning. He brings down Croy at the line of scrimmage. Second down and 10 coming up for the Black and Gold.
For the Bulldogs.
So the system that Trenton has here is that you got Matthew Sibbett bringing in the plays from the sideline. So Sibbett now in the ball game. Colston lines up wide of the near hash mark, with the ball sitting at the 17-yard line. 8:50, clock moving, left to go in the third quarter. Handoff goes to Harris. Spencer cuts at the 20, and he's ahead of the 22-yard line. An effective gain there of 5 yards. Spencer couldn't really put that foot into the ground with a lot of traffic around him and really kind of accelerate through that hole. Looked like he was hunting and pecking for a little bit of a hole, and he did well to pick up 5 yards.
Another play where you pull your offensive guards, and they did a great job of making a gap for Harris to run through.
This is a really important third down coming up for the Bulldogs. I think Coach Boswell realizes it. Trenton calls timeout. 8:20 to go in the third quarter. It's Mules 17 and Bulldogs 8. We're back in 30 seconds on Z101.7 and KGOZ TV. Jalen on the Trenton softball team, which will begin GRC play Tuesday at 5:30 at Maysville. We'll have that game, the Bulldogs and the Wolverines, here on Hot Country, Z101.7. That will be a radio-only broadcast on Tuesday. Trenton football hosting Lexington next Friday night here on Z101.7. The Bulldogs of Trenton facing third down and 5. Handoff, Berkey Bile, and he's going to have to work really hard to get to that first down. He needed about as much as you could. He needed 5 yards. He got a yard and then dragged Mules for 3 yards. I'd be really tempted here if I were Coach Boswell to try to get a first down, but it's kind of putting the game right on the hands of your team right now. I'm sure he wants the first down on 4th and 1, but boy, it's dangerous from your own 27.
Definitely. If you have the ball this close in your own territory, turning the ball over on downs is definitely not what you want to do.
Yeah, Trenton can lean on their defense. It's one thing to lean on your defense. It's another thing to give your opponent a 27-yard field. Let's not say for certain that it's 4th down. They're going to measure this. And if it's 4th down, or if it's 4th down and foot, Tucker, that changes the strategy. That's when you'll, okay, it's going to be 4th down and what, about 3 feet? Mm-hmm. I'd go for it here. Yeah, that's at some point. We mentioned this last night. You need to show some confidence in your offensive line, and there's some pressure on the offensive line here.
Looks like they're going to go for it.
You got to figure maybe a quarterback sneak here for Croy, or Austin Berkeybile's kind of been that guy that every time he gets the football, he seems like he's good for at least 2. So we'll see if they put the ball in the gut at number 27. Lathrop really pushing up on the line of scrimmage here. It's going to be 4th down and less than a half yard. So a big play here from Lathrop with the Bulldogs down by 9. And that 9 is big because it's not a one-possession game right now with Trenton down. Harris in motion. There's a quarterback sneak for Croy, and he gets the first down.
Good push by the offensive line right there, despite all the pressure Lathrop brought.
You had to have been in that situation before, too, where it's a big play, and you know that quarterback's going to be coming right down your backside, and you need a block. There's some pressure there, but the guys, they do like that. They like the fact that Coach Boswell puts some confidence on them.
You definitely have to trust you and your guys around you to get the job done, and that's what I like about it.
When you're the starting center, are you just trying to get into the thighs of the defensive lineman on that play?
You're just trying to get some movement just so you can get stuff happen behind you.
And if you can get low, you got to get lower than your opponent.
Oh, yeah.
You hear that all the time. Nice push there by the Trenton front, and the Bulldogs have a fresh set of downs. Here's Croy handing off to Berkey Bile, and again, he gets 2. Austin seems like he's good for a yard, and then it's a hog pile to try to get him to the turf. He was hit at the 31, and he fell forward to the 32-yard line for a gain of 2. It's going to be second down and a long 8 with 7:29 to go in the third quarter. So Trenton's really trying to wear down Lathrop inside the hash marks.
When you're on game on the play,
but in the second quarter last night, when we saw Trenton start to open up the game a little bit with the run, they got outside the hash marks with Latham keeping the ball a lot.
Right, definitely that reverse that they do with Spencer worked well for them last night as well.
I think Spencer's out there in the right slot for the Bulldogs. Motion man is Sibbett. He's going to get the football. And he cuts to his right, stays on his feet, and he's out to the 34-yard line. Not sure if Matthew misread a block there. I thought there might have been a second cut back. Looks like he kind of cut inside, then back outside, and I thought there was some room in between the hash marks. He's just a little bit inexperienced, might have misread that a little bit. He does pick up 2, and it's going to be 3rd down and 6 from the 34 with 6:38 to go in the third quarter.
I see Coach Boswell over there on the sidelines talking to Matthew over there. After the play was over, I saw him jumping around.
Probably might have saw the same thing I did, or he just kind of misread his block. He'll he's young and he's still very much young as far as experience at the varsity level. Here's White in motion. The handoff to Berkey Bile. He's ahead to the 39-yard line, and well, here you go again. It's going to be a little bit longer of a 4th down attempt coming up here for Trenton than the 4th and inches. 4th and a half yard. If you went for it once, go for it again.
Why not? You might want to try a sweep here, try to catch him off guard.
So one thing that Trenton does have, and this is no, I know they had a good center last year, but Mason Owens pretty good center.
Yep. I always felt confident with him as my backup.
So Mason's out there hiking the ball to Latham at the 40-yard line, 4th and a half. Another 2-man illegal motion penalty. Oh, and Coach Boswell is irritated. That's a type of thing as a coach where if you do it once, you have that discussion of, okay, I don't want to see it again. You do it twice, and now the coach is really irritated at you.
Yep. I think that's why Coach Boswell has his play card chained to his belt loop, so when he throws it, just comes right back to him.
I saw him out of the corner of my eye, and he was just very, very irritated. It takes what likely would have been a first down there, Tucker, and it's now 4th and 6, 4th and 5 and a half, if you will, and it's going to force a punt.
And you saw the great push by the O-line there. They had the first down, that just the double motion. You can't do that.
On the offense,
when you have something like that, that's a pretty simple play, but twice in a 4-minute period you do the same thing. How early in practice on Monday is that brought up by the coaching staff? Is it like first thing?
It's got to be pretty soon. It's got to be one of the issues that you address firsthand.
Yeah, that's kind of a really simple football 101 rule. You can't have 2 guys in motion at once, and they literally look like you got one wing back and you got another wing back, and they look like they're going to run into one another because they're both going opposite directions. So Whitney on to punt the football away. The snap is perfect. Jaden boots it away, and that's a good one. High, and it's caught at the 41-yard line on a diving catch by Devin Williams. Pretty good catch. I don't know about the wisdom of making the diving catch with the Bulldog standing right there, but he did make the catch.
Definitely would have been better if you just let the ball drop.
I was going to say the same thing. So we're going to get a water break here from Lathrop. 5:22 to go in the third quarter. It's Mules 17, Bulldogs 8. We're back in 30 seconds. Now let's go a minute. I think the water breaks are a minute. We'll be back in 1 minute here on Z101.7.
do you say his name?
What's that?
How do you say his name?
Har?
Har.
Har, yeah. Send it back.
Great play.
As we come back to action, we saw a sweet play there for Seth McKnight of Lathrop, and it looked like it might go for a while because it looked like he had Suma on this near sideline, and maybe the best one-on-one defensive play we've seen in this contest, Tucker. Connor Cotton came up, he broke down, he tackled, and it's only a gain of 1 for Seth.
Definitely swallowed him up. It was a great play by Connor Cotton.
Connor kind of grabbed him up high by the shoulder pads, maybe not a great form tackle, but he got him to the ground. So 2nd down and 9 for Lathrop from the 43-yard line. Left defensive end here for the Dogs is Jaden Whitney. Haven't announced his name all that much. There's a run right through the middle. Oh, and a cut there at midfield and into the secondary and running down the near sideline. Spencer Sloan, and he's going to go untouched.
Head off the right side.
57-yard touchdown. He put a
Lathrop
move to the
Mules.
inside and the outside right about midfield. And once the Trenton defender bit on the inside, Sloan was gone.
He only had to make one move, and he made Spencer Harris miss, and then there was nobody else in his way.
Trenton's in bad straits right now. The Bulldogs, I can say this, Bulldogs definitely need the next points in this game. They're not done yet, but they certainly can't afford to give up points after this extra point attempt here by the strong-legged kicker, Justin Burns. So Sloan gets the 57-yard jaunt. Don't think he was touched. The kick is on the way straight through by Lathrop's Justin Burns. 4:31 to go in the 3rd quarter. It's Mules 25 and Bulldogs 8, or 24 to 8, I beg your pardon. 16-point lead for Lathrop. We're back in 30 seconds on KGOZ.
Some people could probably come today that couldn't last night.
We now see from the Lathrop Mules in this contest over 2 days, an 18-yard touchdown run by McKnight, a 32-yard touchdown catch by Justin Burns, a 57-yard run for a touchdown by Hunter Sloan. I think the longest play by the Bulldogs might be in the area of 10 to 15 yards. So the Bulldogs, we thought they need to find somebody that's explosive in the offensive backfield, and they're still kind of in the low streets here as the kickoff off the toe of Justin Burns goes sailing over the head of Colston and right through the end zone. So Colton lets that one go, and it's going to be again 1st down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Justin Burns with his kicking ability, field goal, and he's also making the Bulldogs start from the 20 with that strong leg on kickoffs. That's a big weapon for Lathrop. So 1st and 10 is Trenton looking to move the football from south to north here at Lathrop High School's new athletic complex. Motion man is Harris, and here's the option play coming to Spencer. He pitches it back to Troy to 15, and Harris is eaten up for a loss of 3 back to the 17-yard line. That was just a case of football 101. There were more Lathrop Mules there than Trenton Bulldogs, and the Mules overwhelmed the Bulldogs at the point of attack.
Right, all the right decisions were made, just the play just was not there.
Yeah, Lathrop had it all covered. Croy didn't have the option to keep the football, and quite honestly, once he pitched it back to Spencer, that gave up about 2 or 3 yards, and Spencer was covered as well. So that might be one if you're Lathan where you just say, okay, this is going nowhere. You just try to get back to the line of scrimmage and live to fight another down. Credit to Lathrop on that one. Lathrop was a better team on 1st and 10. Now it's 2nd and 13. Berkey Bile lined up behind Croy. Lathan back to pass. And there was pressure coming as we have a flag from the defensive secondary. Not sure what was seen from that far back. A hold or... Don't think that would have been a hold. It wouldn't have blown the play dead. Delay of game. So we're getting just a lot of just little irritating penalties here, Tucker, against Trenton. Nothing big, but just a bunch of 5-yarders. 5 yards here and there, illegal procedure. We've seen now 2 guys in motion a couple of times. There's a delay of game. Those do add up.
Right, it's hard to overcome games and to win games when you make little mistakes like that.
Well, if you look at Trenton's offense, too, and this was the case last year, you're generally looking, let's get 3-4 yards and make it 2nd down and 6. You get another 5-6 yards and it's 3rd down and 1, and then you get 1st down, which you're very consistent at doing last year. If suddenly instead of 3rd and 2, it's 3rd and 7, completely different situation.
Right.
Colston lined up wide to the right, in the slot to the right, very tight to the line of scrimmage. It's Cotton. There's the pitch going back to Harris, and he's spun down at the 5. All the momentum right now in the favor of the homestanding Lathrop Mules.
Doesn't seem like we're going to need any backside protection from this on the option game.
I'd say, you asked me the pronunciation there before we came back live. Theo Haar, H-A-A-H-R, he's been the best defensive player on the field here in this 3rd quarter for Lathrop. He made that play for a loss all the way back to the 6, so it's 3rd down and a mountain of a mile here for Trenton. 24 yards to go with 2:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. Bulldogs down by 16, 24-8. See what Trenton can pull out of the fire here. The handoff goes middle.
Looks like Croy kept it.
Nope, Croy kept it, I beg your pardon. And he's out to the 13-yard line, so a gain of 5. Yeah, Trenton just can't get the offense going here, Tucker, and it's hard to stay in the ball game when your offense isn't moving.
That's definitely one of the hardest things. To win the game, you need to score more points. You can't score any points, really, without your offense.
Yeah, and when your offense is getting 3 and outs, you're losing the battle of field position.
Oh, boy.
Almost a block there by Lathrop. Drake Lewis put some pressure on the punt from Trenton's Jaden Whitney. The ball was sliced off the side of Whitney's foot. Jaden's had one of those games here. That's his 5th punt. And punts 1, 3, and 5 hadn't been very good. And he's kept 2 and 4, kind of, to describe it in golfing terms, he's kept him right down the middle of the fairway.
Right.
But there was a lot of pressure coming off the side there, as I mentioned. Drake Lewis, I didn't think he had a chance of getting there, and he laid out, and he almost got to that football.
Didn't look like he was actually touched on that play.
1st and 10 to Lathrop, almost a must-stop here for the Trenton defense with 2 minutes and a second remaining in the 3rd quarter. 24-8, the lead for the Mules, moving from right to left, or from left to right, I beg your pardon, on the radio dial. A pitch goes wide right to McKnight. He has blockers out front, 25-yard line to the 20, an ankle tackled by Connor Cotton at the 17. That's a gain of 14 yards. I don't know if they'd be worn down per se physically, because we only got started here in the middle of the 2nd quarter, but I think emotionally the defense at Trenton looks worn down.
Definitely, they've lost almost all momentum that they have one side.
And momentum's a two-way monster, too.
Right.
You know, Trenton's not feeling real great, and they got their daubers down a little bit, but Lathrop's feeling like king of the world right now. So Trenton needs really a turnover, some big play to get back into this ball game emotionally. Another handoff to McKnight. He'll look for the cutback. Now he cuts it back outside to the 15-yard line. Stays on his feet, breaks a double tackle, and he's close to the 1st down. Brought down at the 9-yard line. That'll be a gain of 9 yards for Seth McKnight.
Mason Owens shot through that gap there and actually tackled number 42, Trent Head. He thought he had the ball, but you could see him in the backfield. He was about 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Hey, we can actually come to Lathrop, and there's sun. There's sun out. Back behind our heads to the west, the clearing line must be approaching. We've been overcast since the start of this ball game. Temperatures in the 60s and windy. Still windy, but now we have some sunshine here at Lathrop. As the handoff's going to come to the man in motion and breaking to the near sideline and 10 to the 5 and knocked down at the 3 was Hunter Sloan. Touchdown saving tackle that time by Trenton's Jeffrey White. Lathrop's picking up yards now in bunches. 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards. Lathrop is picking up yards in a hurry, and Lathrop is now inside the 5-yard line, and Trenton needs to either get us 4 and out, which is tough, or try to get a strip fumble of some sort.
Turnover would be huge here.
All Lathrop here in the 2nd half. Mules up 24-8. Pitch goes to McKnight. Cuts to the middle. Ooh, what a hit there. As he's brought down. He's in. He ran right over Jeffrey White. White came up and gave him a hard time, but he didn't wrap up. McKnight ran through him, and he got right to the goal line and in. 3-yard touchdown for McKnight. And that is why right there, example A, why you can come up with all the ferocity in the world and make that big hit, but you got to wrap up. If you don't wrap up, running back, he can be jarred by that hit, maybe not knocked down, and that was exactly the case. McKnight was jarred, he wasn't knocked down, he kept moving forward, he got just barely inside the goal line. 30-8 Lathrop, the extra point kick by Burns. It's up, it is good. Lathrop scored 3 consecutive touchdowns in the third quarter and has put the Bulldogs in a bad box. 45 seconds to go in the quarter. It's Mules 31, Bulldogs 8. We're back in 30 seconds on Z101.7. Seconds to go in the third quarter. Trenton really needs to get momentum going in a positive direction. Down by 23 points. Here's Colston. He brings it back to the 20-yard line and knocked down maybe right in front of the 20 by the heart of the Lathrop special teams. We mentioned it at halftime, Tucker. It was 10-8 at halftime, and Trenton was getting the football. And we thought, you look at things from a Trenton angle, and you think positively, and think, okay, you're in this game. You get points and you get the lead, and here we go. Great things. Third quarter really, it is not overstating it. It's been a nightmare quarter for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, look, Lathrop's offense has been a nightmare to stop. They have Seth McKnight being a one-man offense that last drive.
Lathan Croy under center for the Bulldogs. And he will hand it off, cutting back to the middle, breaking a tackle at the 25, and then out to the 29-yard line was Berkey Bile.
A great run.
Yeah. Austin looked like he went down awkwardly, almost like he stretched the leg a little bit and went kneecap first right to the turf, but he gets up okay.
Down by Tyler Christopher.
That'll be a gain of 10 yards. No, out to the 31. We'll give that one about 12 yards for Burke and a first down. Easily the best offensive play that the Bulldogs have had in the third quarter. The wind is slowly shifting to the north as we thought it would. It started out of the west, and now it's out of the northwest. So it's going to be at the back of the Bulldogs if it does shift to the north in the fourth quarter. Here's Berkey Bile through the middle, finding yards. He's out to the 38-yard line for a gain of 6, maybe 7 if you're generous, as that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. Lathrop outscores Trenton in the third quarter to the tune of 21-0, and as we go to the fourth, it's Mules 31, Bulldogs 8. We're back with the fourth quarter in a minute on Z101.7 and KTTN TV.
Lathrop Mules 31, Trenton Bulldogs 8.
Twelve minutes go up on the clock. The Trenton Bulldogs will have the football here as we start quarter number 4 from Lathrop. 31-8 your score. Some of the other scores from last night. Mark Twain beat Milan 25-14. Princeton losing its season opener 40-6 against Mid Buchanan. And down the road here at Gower, one of their rivals for Lathrop in the KCI, East Buchanan shut out South Harrison 42-0. White, the motion man, handoff. Berkey Bile, he's across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Yeah, if you're Trenton right now, is it impossible to come back and win this game? No. However, Coach Boswell is in the mindset right now. Is it going to be time consuming? Probably, but we need to find a way to get this offense, getting some first downs, getting moving forward. They're doing that right now with Austin Berkey.
Right, at this point, you just want to find confidence for the rest of the season, make this game a momentum builder, even though you might not pull out the win.
Yeah, if you're Trenton right now, you need to find a way to get a couple of scores within 6-7 minutes. If you can be within one score with 4 or 5 minutes to go, you got yourself a possibility. So in order to do that, you need to get the first score. Yeah, a run through the middle, and it didn't go for very much. Austin Berkey did get across the 47-yard line before being shoved backwards. We'll see where the forward momentum goes. It was right at the 47. So 11:35 to go in the fourth quarter. Trenton Bulldogs down 21-8. I got to think here that if Trenton does get touchdowns, we're kind of crossing our fingers, hopeful that we'll see some of that in the fourth quarter. I think we'll see 2-point conversions rather than extra points.
Definitely, especially with this wind, how it's coming out of the north. It'll be tough for them.
Trenton pretty much has the wind at their back, moving to the south and with a northwest wind. There's Berkey Bile. He breaks a tackle at midfield. He's across the 45-yard line, stays on his feet to the 40. He's down the Mule sideline to the 30, and he bangs and rumbles, and he's down to the 21-yard line. Best run of the game for Austin Berkey of Trenton. He had Mules hanging on him the whole way, and Austin has shown the ability to shed tackles throughout this game. Last year it was Colton Neff who would be the 3 yards and a cloud of dust guy and be very, very difficult to bring down to the turf. This year it's going to be number 27, Austin Berkey.
He can definitely shed tackles, but as you just saw there, he can definitely carry 3 or 4 guys with him as well.
He wasn't able to ever get up a big head of steam because he had so many mules on him, but he just kept churning forward. Found his way to the near sideline. 1st and 10 Bulldogs from the 21-yard line. And Trenton gets the ball to Burke again. He's across the 20 and down to the 19-yard line. Much like the first quarter last night where we saw some maybe confusion, indecision on the read option from Lathan Croy. That was an awkward-looking handoff to Berkey Bile. He got the ball where it needed to go, but those are kind of scary.
It looked like they actually ran into each other. They had the mesh point a little off right there.
At that point, you're just trying to make sure you don't fumble the football when you start banging shoulder pads. 2nd and 7 from the 19-yard line. Officially, that'll be a gain of 3 by Berkey Bile. Motion man is White. Fumbled, snap, handoff, coming back to the right side. And there's another fumble, and what a nice grab by Spencer Harris. He was hit. The ball bounced into the air. He turned back and he grabbed the ball out of midair and he got down. It didn't go for very much, and it was a scary play, but Trenton's going to get 1 yard, and it's going to be 3rd down and 6.
That had the potential to not be very good for the Bulldogs, but actually both times they retained the ball when it was bobbled.
Going back to what I was saying before, Trenton's down 3 scores, and the Bulldogs if they do get 3 scores, they're going to need to do something on extra points, probably 2 points conversions. But if you get a score here, you got a chance.
Yeah.
And there's 9:45 to go, but you got a puncher's chance. That's what Trenton's looking for at this point. Here's Croy pitching it out wide, looking to break it to the sideline, get to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and knocked out of bounds at about the 3-yard line is Matthew Sibbett. Sibbett looks like he might have the role this year, Tucker, of what Jonathan Lamp had for the team the last couple of falls.
He definitely has the speed. It looked like he got around the edge, and he actually outran one of the defenders, so that was an impressive look for the sophomore.
And I'm not saying that just because Matthew has Jonathan's old number, 25. He looks like him, though. Same play. Just pitch wide and use your speed. So now Trenton needs to punch this in, and you kind of need to punch it in sooner than later with time starting to become a factor. 1st and goal from just inside the 4. Berkey Bile behind Croy. Lathan takes a snap, hands it off to Berkey Bile, and he rumbles to the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs. We'll give it a 4-yard touchdown run there by Austin Berkey Bile, and once he got to the goal line, he was not going to be stopped. He was hit by a middle linebacker, and Berkey Bile's been winning those battles all Friday night and now Saturday afternoon long.
Just low-made wins is what they always say, and that case right there just showed how true that actually is.
So 31-14, 17-point game, which would be a couple of touchdowns and a field goal, but Lathrop's field goal team has been much superior to Trenton, so I think the Bulldogs are going to try to get it to within 15. Maybe.
Looks like there's a T on the field.
Never mind. That's why I make the assumptions and Coach Boswell makes the final decisions. It's going to be an extra point attempt here for Trenton's Mason Owen. Snap perfect, kick by Mason up and good. So Owen drills it through. The Bulldog special teams doing well there, and it's 31 to 15. Lathrop up 16 with 9:30 to go in the fourth quarter. So Trenton's down 2 touchdowns and 2 extra point conversions. Back with a kick in 30 seconds. Thinking it, Tucker. Onside kick.
It looks like they got the hands team out there for Lathrop.
Yeah, I'd think about it if I were Trenton. We'll see. Mason Owen boots it away off the side of the foot, right down to the 20-yard line. Bringing it back to the 30 and stopped at the 31-yard line was the kick returner for Lathrop. Lathrop had everybody in tight there, so Lathrop was sniffing out a potential onside kick as Hunter Sloan brings it back to the 31. And what happens on that play, too, if you're Lathrop and you're sniffing out an onside kick and you have that many guys close, that ruins the blocking on any sort of return.
Definitely. Cole Schilling definitely sniffed that play out well. And now we flip the field now. Lathrop is now on their own side of the field.
So, as we mentioned, Trenton needs 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. Hard to do in 9.5 minutes, but possible. They need a defensive score here or a turnover would be huge. And if you're Trenton, you're trying to tackle the football big time here. Handoff goes to McKnight. Yards to the 30, to 35. Cuts inside at the 40. Dragged down from behind at the 47-yard line. Hanging on for dear life there was Connor Cotton. And I'm not sure what I've seen from the defense that would be different other than the fact that the defense is not winning the battle line of scrimmage, but the run defense has not been as good in the second go-around than it was last night.
Right, I was watching Connor Cotton that play. He actually had latched on good. O-lineman latched on to him. He actually got off that block really well to make that play.
9:18 now to go in the fourth quarter. Lathrop gets a 17-yard run by the sophomore, very talented Seth McKnight. Quarterback Brock Lewis has 2 running backs behind and hands it off to the up man and to midfield and maybe the 49-yard line before being knocked back by Jaden Whitney was Head. So Trent Head gets about 3.5, 4, somewhere in that area. He's going to be right at the 49-yard line. So give him 3. 8:45 to go in the fourth quarter. And back to what we talked about earlier, the Bulldogs need to find a way to get the ball. If you're Lathrop right now, would you like to score? Yeah, but I think Lathrop more so. They want to run the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Long time-consuming drive here by Lathrop would pretty much put Trenton away. Second down and 7 for the Mules. Drake Lewis comes to the left side. He'll be the tight end. Now going in motion is Sloan, and on the snap, a flag. We've seen those sort of flags against Trenton all Friday and Saturday long. Maybe that's an illegal procedure against Lathrop, and it is.
5-yard penalty could actually set the Mules back.
Yeah, this is where, if you're Trenton, whenever your defense gets a break like that, whether you make a play or you get the offense shooting themselves in the foot and all of a sudden it's over 10 yards for a first down, this is where the defense needs to say, okay, we got a little momentum here. Here's where you need to stand up, bow your neck, and make a play.
Let's see how the defense reacts here.
Head lined up to the left here of Lewis. Lewis hands it off to McKnight. He finds a cutback lane at the 45-yard line, stays on his feet to midfield, cuts back again to the Bulldog 44-yard line, and that'll be very close, if not right at the first down marker. So he picks up 12, and it'll depend on the spot here. And the thing with that is,
Close to the
if you look at
first
Seth
down
McKnight, you hear
marker.
about speed, and he's young, but he's scary because of all the speed he has. He read his
Right.
blockers really well right now.
Troy
He did. He actually
on
made a couple
top.
good moves to make the blocks actually happen for him in his favor.
Yeah, so often you say, well, he's just going to outrun people. Nah, he has a little bit of football sense to him, too, because that was a nice job of weaving and duking and diving around the Trenton defense to find a good 12, 13-yard carry. They're going to bring out the sticks to see if it is a first down. Just short. It's now third down and an oof. You know, you've said it a couple of times here this morning, Tucker. Low man wins.
Right.
So on third and a foot, if you're the D-line, you're trying to get into the legs of those offensive linemen.
When you're D lineman in this situation, you're not trying to be a hero, make a tackle. You're just trying to make a pile so you can't go anywhere.
You're trying to make a pile. You know, I'm watching. You can make a lot of piles. Isaiah Kuhn up there, he's going to try to get into the backfield. You're trying to make a pile, and you're probably going to have the linebackers a yard or two behind you, and
Yep.
those linebackers are then trying to fill.
Yeah, I can see Mason Owen getting into the backfield on this one, seeing if he can stop it in the back.
So Owen at D tackle. Right to his right side here is Kuhn. They're going to try to stuff here. Hand off. First down. Ed gets a first down. He spins away from Berkey Bile. Austin held on and got head down to the turf at the 41-yard line. That's a gain of 3. And another first down. Every first down at this point is 2 minutes that go off the clock.
Yep. It looked like actually Mason Owen did get to the backfield, wrapped him up around the ankles, but head was just strong enough to fight through it.
And if you're a linebacker too there, or if you're a D lineman as Mason is, if you're getting penetration as third and foot, you're kind of guessing and you're hoping that once you get that penetration, the back's going to be there.
Right.
If he's not, he's not.
Play ran away from him as well, too, so it was impressive that he even got there.
First and 10 Mules. Trenton just dying here to try to find a way to get the football back to its offense after the offense was able to get its first significant drive of distance this season. Ended on the touchdown run by Berkey Bile about 4 minutes ago. Again, Lathrop feeds the ball. I believe it's Trent Head.
Head up the middle.
And
Brought
it
down by
was.
Troy.
That's one of those backs, too, that he's
Bulldog.
built low to the ground. He's kind of the fullback type for Lathrop. He doesn't look like a really big young man, but he's a senior. He's experienced, and I'm sure for Trenton he's hard to see because he's
6-yard
quite
gain on
short.
the play.
Definitely, especially with those
Second
good O-linemen up
four.
front getting a push.
And then you got number 76, Kenny Breckenridge, up there for Lathrop. He's the guy up there filling his uniform
Second
well. He's
five.
playing right tackle here for the Mules this afternoon. 7:10 to go in the fourth quarter. Lathrop 31, Trenton 15. Head in motion. No, Head gets the football, and he's in the linebacking core, and then he got
Head
met
off the right side. brought
rudely
down by Croy.
by Croy. As Croy makes the tackle after, kind of good news, bad news. A great tackle by Lathan Croy, but still just third down and 2 coming up here for Lathrop. This is a perfect drive for what Coach Holt was looking for.
That last hit was one of those hits where you see the running back's head jar back, so it was a good contact by Lathan Croy.
So much attention on Lathan getting his first start at quarterback, but that young man has been punishing people from the linebacker position in this game. Handoff backfield, breaking a tackle at the 35-yard line, and then juking forward to the 29 for another first down is McKnight.
You got to make those tackles in the backfield.
Yeah, you heard Tucker groan there. Easier said than done because McKnight is elusive, but Trenton could have got him in the backfield, but he had one. He put his foot into the field turf at about the 35-yard line, his left foot, and he just cut off of that and cut inside of the Trenton tackler. This is frustrating for the Bulldogs because they want to find a way to get the ball back to their offense, and they just can't get Lathrop off the field. This is 4 consecutive third down conversions now for the Mules on this drive.
Lathrop's really put a good drive together.
Time consuming, the most important part of this drive for the Mules. Here's the double handoff down to the 36-yard line. It goes left, and then it goes immediately back to the right to Hunter Sloan
Takes a handoff
as he
inside.
gains 3.
Looked like they're actually in an unbalanced formation with 2 guys only on the right side with that double motion.
3-yard gain on the play.
Drake Lewis is the big tight end for Lathrop. He is lean. He don't look like your traditional tight end, but he looks like he's about number 11 on the left side. He got to be 6'5".
They're once again in that unbalanced formation.
Yeah, a good target if Lathrop were going to try to get the ball down the field, but Lathrop's burning clock here, so you'd expect that they'll keep the ball on the ground. Here's a rollout by the quarterback, Lewis, and he's going to be brought down by Whitney. sort of. He got away from Jaden and he dove forward, trying to get as close to the line of scrimmage as possible. I think officially there, Jaden will get a sack, but
Right.
Jaden's probably muttering under his breath because he wish he would have got him down back about the 37-yard line. He scrambled back to the 31.
He had a good opportunity. He actually had two guys trying to block him at the same time. He was trying to get that tackle, so
Must play here for the Trenton Bulldogs.
definitely.
5 minutes left. Your chances of scoring 2 touchdowns aren't great, but if Lathrop gets a first down here, the Bulldogs' chances of a comeback are really, really dim.
You need this for a confidence builder.
3rd and 13 for the Mules. Mules may be looking at this as 4-down territory. Get half of it here and half of it on 4th down. There's a low snap. Lewis going to grab it and then dive to the turf back at the 45-yard line. You hear this all the time. If it's a youngster in that play, maybe he tries to pick it up and make something of it. Lewis is a little bit more experienced. His thought process of we're up by 16, the play just blew up in my face. Let me just hop on the football
Yeah.
and we'll make better of the next play.
There's nothing really that he could have done there. That low snap, it basically bounced to him.
So Lathrop will now punt the football away. If I'm Trenton, I'm thinking about a timeout here before the punt. Way to stop the clock. Maybe. Colton is back deep to return the punt. And as the snap came back to Burns, we get flags. Delay, Trenton.
It looked like an encroachment call.
Oh, yeah, yep, encroachment. You are correct. I was trying to figure out how you get a delay a game on defense. And then I realized, no, the 2 hands on the hip are encroachments.
On the defense. Still 4th down.
I don't know if that helps. That maybe doesn't hurt Trenton. It maybe makes it more difficult for Lathrop to try to pin Trenton into the coffin corner.
I think so. It's definitely already. It was already hard enough with the field position that they had before.
It's 4th and about 20. There's a kick from midfield by Burns. Just kind of pooches it up there towards Colton.
Oh, good.
It's going to land at 10. And stay away from it, boys. And it rolls to the 9.
It's a good pump by Lathrop.
Yep. Perfectly done.
10-yard line. Trent begins
Perfectly
1st and 10.
done. So Trenton, at this point, we need one of those plays that that McCarter and Leaper got down at Holden last year.
Yeah.
And we need a couple of them. And then a couple of 2-point conversions.
Looks like timeout called by Trenton.
Trenton, at this point, here's the situation. We'll talk about it when we come back. Timeout on the field. Bulldogs down 31-15. We're back in 30 seconds. Trenton needs to find a way to get a touchdown quick and then a 2-point conversion, Tucker. And if that happens, probably an onside kick.
Definitely. We may see the ball take flight this possession.
So, if there's a hook and ladder, or we've seen if Trenton needs a big play, and this goes back to Coach Croy's days, bubble screen seems to be a popular play.
Definitely. I think that they still have that play in their arsenal as well.
Maybe something into the direction of Spencer Harris on something like that. We'll see if perhaps that's in the cookbook. Croy back to pass, steps into the pocket, throws the ball toward Harris.
No.
Incomplete. Looked like a pretty good throw there by Lathan, but he did have pressure in his face at the goal line.
Spencer had a little room, too. It looked like he might have just overthrown him just a tad.
And Spencer over there talking with Coach Boswell. Coach might have been saying it was a little bit, looked like the throw was a little bit outside and low, but he might be saying, hey, break off that, make it an easier throw for your quarterback.
Right. It looked like he was double covered, and he actually lost one of the defenders to
Correct.
slipping on
Yeah.
the field turf.
One of the defenders for Lathrop hit the dust there at the 25-yard line. 2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs. As Croy hands the ball off and stuffed at the 4-yard line was the running back of the Bulldogs. And that was Harris. So Harris brought down for a loss of at least 5, maybe 6. 3.5 minutes now to go in the 4th quarter.
Seems like a pretty simple pass situation. You need to make up some yardage here.
3rd and 15.
Yeah, it's 4 down territory. This is where the Bulldogs are up against it, because if the Bulldogs do not pick up 15 yards over the next 2 plays, they're going to give Lathrop the ball inside the 15-yard line, and that's pretty much going to be game at that point.
Right.
Berkey Bile's going to line up behind Croy. Trenton needs the block here to avoid a possible safety back at the 5-yard line. As Croy hands off the football to Berkey Bile, he's out to the 10 and to the 12-yard line, so he'll get 7. The idea there for Trenton is it's 3rd and 15. Let's not try to pick up 16 on one play. Let's pick up 7 on one play and 8 or 9 on the next.
Looks like they're bringing out the punt team onto the field for this 4th down.
So I'm not totally convinced that they're going to punt, but maybe it's the waving of the white flag, so to speak. 2:35 to go in the 4th quarter, and really that long drive by Lathrop, even though it didn't result in points, it just put Trenton in a bad way. Took about 7 minutes off of the clock after the Bulldogs had scored earlier on this quarter with 9.5 minutes left to go in the 4th on the 4-yard touchdown run by Burke. So Whitney punts football away from just outside his own goal line, no pressure, and there's the best punt of the season by Whitney. Drives it to midfield, caught by Williams. Williams cuts those right down the heart of the seam. He's to the 30, to the 25, and he's brought down at the 24-yard line. That's a young man right there, too. He's not very, but he's quick.
That had potential to be a very bad play for the Bulldogs. Luckily, we had to recover there.
It was a nice kick by Whitney, but it was also a low kick. Very returnable kick by Williams.
Mm-hmm. Looked like he caught it maybe on a hop or low to his feet.
And he had momentum behind him, too. We
Right.
talked about that earlier on a kickoff when Colton Colson let the ball go through the end zone, and I said he wouldn't have had momentum anyway because he's moving backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Williams, who's fast, he caught that on the full fly, so he had momentum when he grabbed it at the 49. Here's the pitch going out to Williams. He's to the 25-yard line, breaks outside. He's going to be brought down. Nice tackle made there. We'll give that one to Chase Marsh of the Bulldogs. He didn't necessarily get him down to the field immediately, but Chase got a little bit of contact as Williams dives forward to the 23-yard line for a gain of 2.
Brings up 2nd and 8
Chase
for
a
the
little bit.
Mules.
Undersized junior linebacker, only 138 pounds, came up, made a nice tackle.
Yeah, he has potential to be a great football player. He's going to grow into his body. Even though he's a junior, it's his senior year, he could be great.
So the Bulldogs having time run down. Now down to 90 seconds to go in the season opener, barring a huge change of momentum here. It'll be Lathrop going to 1-0 and Trenton to 0-1. Lexington, the opponent, next week.
Trent Head up the middle.
Trent Head up the middle for Lathrop. The Lathrop offense,
Chase Marsh.
it's not exactly the same as we ran last year, but the threats that Lathrop has reminds me of last year's Bulldogs.
Right, you got a good fullback that can pound it up the middle, and you got a good guy that can bust it out the edge.
Yeah, and I'd compare Devin Williams to Travis Leeper a little bit. Obviously, Head and Sloan inside, they're very much like Colton F. I don't know if they have the take it all the way ability that Colton had, but yeah, there's a lot of similarities, a lot of different options that Lathrop can go to. That's part of what makes this Mules offense pretty good.
Looked like Tyler Christopher for the Mules left off the field after that play.
Reed Photography, Steve's Tow Service, and Trenton.
Brock Lewis under center. He'll use all the snap block. Hands it off. A lot of room to the 15, down to the 10, and down to the 9. Tackled by Croy. I believe that was Devin Williams.
Devin Williams on the left side.
And that may be the last play of this ball game. Maybe not, because the clock does stop for the moving of the sticks on the first down. This is going to be very easy to say, and it doesn't change the fact that it's going to be a loss for Trenton. And there's a lot to work on, obviously, next week for the Bulldogs, Tucker. But if you take the third quarter out of the equation, this is a Trenton win.
Yeah, there are a lot of big question marks coming into this game about the offense and everything.
Yeah, 21-0 in the third quarter. So you if and butts or can you nuts, right?
Right.
It'll be 31-15. Final score is Lathrop Mules on the football. Chris Holt looks like a happy head coach for the Lathrop Mules as he shakes hands with his assistant coaches, and it's handshake time here for Lathrop. KCI gets bragging rights over the GRC in this intersectional matchup. It started on Friday night.
See you Friday.
Paused by the Lightning, and it ends on early Saturday afternoon. The final score from Lathrop, the Mules 31, the Trenton Bulldogs 15. We'll take a 3-minute timeout. We're back with the post game in 3 minutes on Hot Country Z 101.7.
Mules will be on the road next week at Bethany playing South Harrison.
big game, 115 yards, mostly running around the edges. Number 1 came into the game late, Devin Williams. He had 6 yards. And number 32, Hunter Sloan, had 29 yards. He's one of those ground and pound guys.
And as we said about this Lathrop offense late in the game, they seem to have the perfect combination. You got the speed guy in Williams, you got the ground and pound guys in Head and Sloan, and McKnight's a little